Four, three, two, one. All right, guys, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Automotive Podcast. A podcast where you don't have to build model cars, but it sure does help. This is episode number 38 here. We have the regular crew, all of us, fresh off a model show of one sort or another. And down there in the bottom Hollywood Square, we have Mr. John Burnham, also known as Hobby Guy.
Gentlemen,
Where is Hobby Guy at? Is that Instagram? Or is that Facebook?
Yeah.
Or
Instagram and Facebook.
I was going to say, plug it real quick for everybody. Where can we, so they can follow along with what you're doing?
Absolutely. It's just Hobby Guy on Facebook. And I think it's Hobby Guy F1 on Instagram because I think Hobby Guy is taken. Actually, I don't even know my own Instagram. It's been, I believe, no, it's just Hobby Guy on Instagram too. So.
All right. So we're going to be interviewing John tonight. We have photos of a number of his models. And then for the rest of us, Mr. Chester, Mr. Svensson, you may have met and glad hand at the Buckeye Classic in Columbus, Hilliard, Ohio this past weekend. I was my head automotive judging duties at the Three Rivers IPMS show. And we have lots to discuss about those shows. Sean has an album of photos that we'll be sort of plowing through here. I haven't had a chance to. I didn't have a chance to download anything from, so we're gonna see what's there is to see. There's some very nice models to look at. It's been a pair of weeks here, guys. So, Mr. Chester, what have you been up to in the last 2 weeks?
I'm still working on the McLaren. It's getting really close. Really
It
close.
has wheels.
Yeah, it has wheels now. I just need to do the window. That's going to be the hard part. But other than that, it's finished.
Cool. Mr. Svensson, we know that you have finished the Dune Charger because the Dune Charger got picked for a top 10 down there at Buckeye.
Yep. Yeah,
well, I say there's a secret project I don't think we could talk about. You have to come down and at least see that. What else you got going
on? Let's see. Well, at the Buckeye Classic, I picked up a ton of stuff. Actually, I helped Mr. Tester not take home some models from his. I got some neat stuff from him. Bought some other cool stuff. Actually, I got to share this one thing. So I don't know if you guys have heard it. There's a company that makes 3D printed parts called Neffy's Customs, and actually I built one of their little chopper motorcycles a few months back. So they have this really cool line. I bought this whole collection of 1/25th scale guitars. And they have, and there is a bag of 12. Like there's a whole bunch of them. And they're so tiny. They're like Flying V and then they come with amplifiers too, like Marshall amps, full stack. So I want to build a kind of a tribute to the band I used to be in. So I have an idea to build kind of like I don't know, some sort of vehicle with that fold down stage and a little band setup. So apparently he's also working on a set of 1/25th scale drums. So then I'll have the whole band set up. So someday we'll get around to that. But I thought those were really cool. I saw them and I was like, oh, I got to have that. So you can check him out on Facebook, I think, and probably eBay and some other places.
Okay. I can hear the wheels turning already.
I say there was a video game for, I think it was PS3, I think probably Xbox too, called Rock Band, where classic peripheral. If you remember the intro to that, where the guy was like singing on the front of a car, and then he was on top of a van, on top of an RV, and on top of a big rig. So
yeah,
something along those lines.
So actually, I played Rock Band with my kids before I was in a real band, and that was one of the things where I was like, oh, that was probably one of the first times I actually sang, like, in public, just playing Rock Band.
So they are the creators of Guitar Hero. They're bringing it. It's a sidebar brought to you by our Generation X youths here. The people who did Guitar Hero are bringing out a game supposedly this fall for PS5 and whatever the current Xbox version is called On Stage. It's going to be sort of a mixture of Guitar Hero and Rock Band, so it'll be primarily a guitar thing, but they're supposed to be doing the rest of the peripherals, so you could have somebody playing bass, somebody singing, somebody doing the drums. So, yay!
Wow.
My wife the other day, but I was like, that was so much fun. Like my oldest daughter was like 10 or so when that game was out. We used to play that all the time. We're like, why has no one remade that now that all the PS5 stuff's wireless? Like it would not have to be corded into your console anymore.
Oh, right. Yeah, everything's
Oh,
Bluetooth.
they actually are working on one. Haha. So there's that. John, obviously you're new here, so we can't talk about what you did in the last 2 weeks. But what do you have, currently in progress on your bench there? What are you working on?
Currently, I'm building actually a Tamiya RX-7, but I'm building it into a time attack car. So cut the front end off of it, 3D printed a bunch of parts. I think some of the time attack parts are actually from Black Box. I printed, and then I got a set of decals actually from James's friend Winbin. So I contacted him, and he sent me a set of Red Bull decals. So it was really Mad Mike's drift car, but I wanted those Red Bull decals, and I didn't really want to build a drift car, so I'm going to build a time attack car with that Red Bull livery on it, type of deal. So, and then I'm going to put in a 3D printed engine in and stuff. So hopefully I get it done in the next month or two for the next show. But that's kind of what's on the bench right now.
John, I'm guessing that you're from Canada.
I am.
I could tell by the way you said decals.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah,
is this a decals
you guys
thing?
say decal. I know. James and I always have this debate. I know people in the U.S. say decals. We say decals.
That's funny.
Decal is a cut of meat. Decal is a water slide graphic.
A great debate.
It's a great debate.
And I know you're all screaming, but James, what have you been up to? So first of all, we have a new camera, so that's something that's needed to be replaced for like the last 5 years. I've actually have this thing all the way forward on my desk right now. It's supposed to be like a teleconferencing high definition thing. If I put it back where I normally have my camera, like it's so far away. So bear with me while we learn how to use that. And I have chassis assembled and painted for the 1963 car. And then some people have said, hey, good to see you on the Sunday live show. So yeah, I was on Jason Hanscom and Mike the Outlaw's Sunday show where we were all building a model in 3 hours, which is about as dumb as it sounds. And I decided for my personal thing, I was at the hobby shop. You guys saw all the stuff that I brought like 2 weeks ago. And I was like, what can I build in 3 hours that I don't have to paint, right? Because I don't want to do like bare plastic. And they had some of these old pre-painted Revell Camaros laying around still. Whole whopping $17. Let's all complain about the price of kits, shall we? And so I got this one. It's black. And it's already, for some reason, it has the hood silver, but not the rest of the silver stripe, which is kind of annoying. And it's painted black already, which is great, except that it's got like 15 years of box wear all over it. So it needs to be polished. And I probably could have actually slapped this thing together. This is one of the dumber excuses you overhear for not finishing a model. This bottle of Testers or Tamiya metallic gray, which is steel, I can't get it open. I've put probably half a quart of thinner into this bottle trying to get the lid off of it, and it won't. And I didn't want to go through the whole process of like getting the booth off underneath the stuffed animal shrine back here when I realized that I couldn't get it open. So
Channel.
I have steel. I have steel in like Mr. Collar. I have steel in extreme the AK extreme metal colors.
Yeah,
but that's all airbrush. I can't. You know what? I was going to, but I realized that, and I didn't even get this one stuck. But this bottle of Tamiya aluminum, the lid's cracked on here. I didn't want to
super hot water.
Yeah,
Like, chill.
I've never had the lacquer thinner, Wiccan lacquer thinner into the cap not work before. I was literally there with a dropper at one point, dropping lacquer thinner into it, and it just won't budge. I was like, all right, well, I guess we're gonna have to buy a new bottle of that. That one's
I
locked
broke a
up.
bottle of All Clad once with the channel locks.
That's the other thing. I didn't want to snap the lid off of it and cut myself live one.
Yeah, I've done that.
To laugh
I've done
at.
that once too. Like, had one explode because I squeezed it too hard.
But like, other than like, I need to paint the exhaust. I need to paint the exhaust headers. I need to paint the front engine cover and the disc brakes. But everything else is done. Like the body's painted. Well, the body's obviously painted, but the chassis painted, the interior's painted, and everything like that. And since I didn't finish it, I went on eBay and I found a sheet of the decals from the 2013 like unpainted one. Where they sold these as pre-painted and they sold them like unpainted. And that has the rest of the silver decals for the roof and the trunk. It has like the decals for the interior, the decals for the engine, because this came with no decals at all, which I thought was kind of. I mean, I know the point of it was like, oh, you can assemble it in 3 hours and it's all, ready to go.
No, you
but it's
can't.
like, no, like you can't. If it turns out if you can't get your steel open, you can't. But like there's there's like LT1 or LS1, whatever the engine designation is on here. On this, the engine cover plus supercharged is on here. Like that's all decals. The marker lights, they're decals in this decal sheet, or I have to paint them. It's missing half of the Chevy logos for the wheels and stuff like that. I was like, I got to look at it like that was really kind of a ripoff by Revell. Like, why would you not include all that? It's a sheet of decals. How much? I don't remember what the unpainted ones were, but they weren't more than like $20. Like, I ended up paying $12 for I ended up paying $12 for this sheet of decals. That
So you're deep in this one.
yeah. I figured if I wasn't going to get it done in 3 hours, now I picked out the starter on the engine. I picked out the oil filter on the engine. I've got the transmission case a different color than the block on there. So if I'm not going to get it done in 3 hours, I'm going to make it look nice anyway.
Well, there's always next week. You can do it next week.
There's that too. Like I said, if I spent 15-20 minutes in the booth, it'll be done because none of the stuff needs to be masked off or anything like that. It just needs to be hosed on, and then I could paint the black parts on, with my favorite Vallejo Model Air.
Oh, I can't.
And I need to either get this done or put it away because I need to get that 63 done before the end of next month. So
I can't highlight comments. Kevin says, "Just throw it on the floor."
I'm pretty sure, Kevin, that's exactly how the cap cracked on the aluminum one. It's also how I spilled half a bottle of Mr. Color leveling thinner. Landed right on the cap, split the cap, and spilled out all over the floor.
Unicorn tears all over the place.
Yeah. It was a weepy thing. It was a weepy day for all. Mostly because I couldn't see for like 2 hours. Oh my God, it stinks so bad down here. So that's me. Do we have any idea, you two, what the actual final count at Columbus was? I saw something was like 4 something, 5 something.
I thought it was 500, but I don't know the number.
I say at Three Rivers we were 393, but that's covering all genres. Airplanes very light this year, which is kind of odd. You associate the IPMS with airplanes because it's the International Plane Modeling Society, but not this year.
It was a good show though, enjoyable, good turnout, ton of vendors. So yeah, a lot of cool models. Well, James, Mr. Tester, what was your favorite that you saw
at the show?
Yeah.
God, I don't know.
No, in the ditch on the way home.
I didn't get to see much of the model show. I took 10 minutes away from the table and quickly went up and looked through the crowd. And I saw Mr. Downey's Porsche. That was beautiful. His Barracuda was nice. I saw your stuff. I saw a unicorn, which I thought was interesting because I haven't seen one built since I built it. Like I said, I didn't get to see much. I really would have liked to have spent more time up there.
What was your experience like at the tables, manning a vendor table?
It went steady pretty much all day. We didn't sit around, waiting for somebody to come to the table very often, which was kind of nice.
Were you able to
Yes.
extinguish yourself of kits, or did you have to take anything home?
No, I brought home 3 PZY kits and 4 printed kits. One guy at the end of the day, it was about an hour before the end of the show, and I said 50% off everything, and one guy came and bought the entire table.
Oh wow! Where was I during that time? Dang it!
You got good pricing, anyways.
Yeah, that's true. I did. James cut
Friends
me.
and family discount.
Yeah, friends and family discount. Yeah, I was trying to think of. I was telling these guys. So I think the coolest model that I saw was very underrated. I don't know that a lot of people noticed it, but I did. Tom Elifret, I think is how you pronounce his last name. A great model builder from Buckeye Scale Auto Club. Great scratch builder. Had built a Winnebago camper, like the big. I don't know much about Winnebagos. I couldn't tell you, but it was almost completely scratch built, probably 99%, and it had an interior inside. Full shag, green carpeting from the 70s. And, it's kind of it's really, really cool, really well done. And I kind of marveled over all the little neat details inside of it. And that was probably one of my favorites.
Was there a bong, maybe a bong or a 70s,
Yeah, it's full on 70s.
What kit is that?
I'm sorry?
What kit is that, Sean?
It's scratch built. Almost.
Oh, is it?
I think the wheels are about the only thing that probably wasn't scratch built. Everything else, sheet
Like
plastic.
styrene?
Yeah.
Really, eh? Wow.
All the interior details. There's a couple, James, there's a couple overhead pics of it down inside the interior.
All right, let me see what I can do with that.
Just Mr. Downey's Porsche. That was pretty neat too. The multicolor.
Yeah, I want to look at that again, but let's see here if I can continue talking while I try to buzz through here. This album doesn't have like an album view. I have to go through every picture.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I saw that was really cool. Let's see. Jeff, who we've had on the show before, he had that van again, was really neat.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Bloomfield.
Bloomhoff.
I always call him Bloomfield. Bloomhuff.
Sorry, Jeff.
Sorry, Jeff.
I'm trying to think of what else that we saw. There's so many cool models. I mean, if you look at I posted a couple hundred photos today on my Sven's World of Wheels. So make your way over and you can kind of look through all of them. But there was a lot of neat stuff. Yeah.
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 And we should point out that, and I think a lot of people have already noticed, and Mr. Chester also, much to his chagrin, as he dipped out early, also got a top 10.
He did.
What was that for, Mr. Tester?
The Ferrari Garfield 296.
Oh, so that got finished, huh?
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever seen finished. I don't think we've ever seen a finished picture of that.
Oh.
Just sort of. Here's your Hoonigan, by the way. I found that.
Yeah.
John Halt, he's local to me. This guy literally lives about 10 minutes away from me. That's
okay.
He's out there.
Yeah, that's a fully 3D printed car. So that's good work.
Yeah, really well done.
Yeah,
and then Clay, what's Clay's last name?
Clay Kemp.
Clay Kemp. Oh man, his NASCAR race car stuff. I'm trying to get him on the show. He's a little bit shy. I think we might be too much for him. But man, I'd love to talk about his work because he is such an amazing builder. If you follow him on Instagram or Facebook, he's been around for a really long time building mostly NASCARs, but he builds other things too, and just super detailed. I mean,
beyond super.
There's not a zip tie missing on anything that he builds, right? I mean, he's down to the nth degree of detail.
Right.
And I like
deserved best of show.
cutaways that he does. Like that, I think one of the cars he built was like kind of sawed in half, like the body was, so you could actually see the entire inside of it. Just an amazing builder, and he got best of show.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so back to this Winnebago, since I found the pictures that you were talking about. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
It had a complete interior. Everything inside the interior is scratch built. You know, all the kitchen, all the appliances.
Toaster.
There was a teddy bear inside there somewhere.
Oh, look at that
clock on the. Just immense amount of detail to it. Tom is a really, really great and underrated model builder. He's done a lot of the resin or a lot of the masters for a bunch of resin bodied stuff. And so, yeah, if you bought a resin kit of a mid 70s car, his specialty is mid 70s stuff.
Okay.
And he revels in the mundane, so he enjoys mid 70s Oldsmobiles and Fords. And
whoops! I'm sorry.
Oops, not that one. Not yet.
Mundane 70s car.
Telling you, you need to go to Fort Wayne with that and take that to the Nationals with the whole international category that they have.
We'll see.
Because they come out for Friday and Saturday. You don't have to be there for the whole 4 days. Just get there and get in time to saunter off with another gigantic award, as you're prone to do.
All right, enough about that.
Because Sean also got a top 10 for the Dune Charger. In case anybody didn't realize that.
The Dune Charger.
I am constantly in a state of awe of being, the old gag I've said for a bunch of times, like, I surround myself with better builders so that I can learn from them. Meanwhile, top 10 department over here, good grief. Sean's won a whole bunch of stuff recently, and then here comes James slamming through with I gotta finish something anyway. So Bob Downey, who's a friend of all of ours, did this Porsche 911 GT3 RS, which is the current Tamiya kit, and did it like a advertisement from the early 911s, which is also sort of kind of the Volkswagen did a Golf that was kind of similar to this whole thing. And I think the Dodge did this with the Plymouth Barracuda at one point in time, did one of these every color the car comes in. And I just appreciate the amount of time, effort, and masking that went into that.
Yeah, I think what's most impressive is there wasn't a step anywhere in it. So he block sanded that big time when he cleared it, and it was gorgeous.
Yeah, if there was a best of paint award, I'm sure it probably would have gotten it.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll get Bob on here eventually someday. He keeps threatening to join us, but
pretty cool.
Pretty cool stuff.
I did notice. Well, this is another one of Jeff's. Let's see here. Jeff's got, what is this? This is a 60. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I hate to move things around on here. This is a 68 442.
Oh yeah, that was super nice.
Something they've gone. Yeah, they did the 64. They've done a 69. They've done a 67. Like, we get the couple 72. Other gaps filled in and be done with it.
Yeah, Jeff does great paint.
I've loved this. I've always enjoyed this front end more than the other ones that came after it for some reason. Just personal preference.
Yeah, his paintwork is on point for sure.
Jeff, another amazing builder is they're so subtle. But the more you kind of look at them, the more you sort of discover.
Oh no! Oops.
Oops.
But we're here. This was the reason why I started off this Vanagon. I've not seen this before. I don't know. I follow Jeff on Instagram. I don't know if this is something I just didn't see, but this is very nice. such an oddball subject matter in the first place.
Yeah, there's a lot of conversion work because that's the old Revell Vanagon from that's the different, an older generation that's been updated to the newer generation with a bunch of resin parts and some other stuff in it.
Okay.
Neat stuff.
Pretty cool.
Cool beanie.
Very cool.
Or say for Three Rivers, we do open judging, which is gold, silver, bronze. I was head auto judge, as mentioned, and we, to put it politely, we were missing everybody who was in Columbus in terms of quality. I don't know, I go too far down that road because it will insult somebody, but it was very much a local show. Very nice turnout, but yeah, that's all I'll say about that. It's a fun day, good day, and all that sort of thing. But like I said, you only got too far down any roads because somebody will end up seeing this and they'll be like, that guy from the FPMS is an asshole. So it was just the quality. The quality was in Columbus. Was not not in Pittsburgh, unfortunately.
You need to coordinate your schedules.
Yeah, well, next year we're going to be on April the 3rd, so we're not overlapping next year. That was actually a whole thing. We're like, well, is it really going to matter that the car guys aren't there? I'm like, well, I mean, yeah. I don't know until we have the show, and then everybody's like, well, there's plenty of cars out here. I'm like, yes, and there are, but there's a noticeable in the overall quality of what's here. So if my friends can't come, I have two guys that are on a podcast with me that have never experienced what open judging is. I can't do that when you schedule it on the same day. But that's just sort of an artifact of the fact that obviously Hilliard is right beside Dublin. Dublin is the huge all-encompassing St. Patrick's Day of Columbus. So obviously they have to work around that weekend. There's a huge St. Patrick's Day parade in Pittsburgh. We have tried to run against it before and failed miserably in all attendance. So we can't run that weekend either. And this just sort of fell out. I was like, if you guys could just try not to schedule it that same weekend. I have 82 people messaging me going, you can be in Columbus this weekend? I'm like, no, I'm not going to be in Columbus.
Although I don't think I want you to judge my cars, James.
Yeah, I promise I won't lift them off the table and look at the bottom. It'll be fine. I say for anybody, the chances that you see him, my judging team was a guy named Peter who's out of Central PA IPMS, and then two guys came down from Lansing, Michigan. I want to say that's Mid Michigan modelers. They run a show called Mid Michigan Mayhem or something like that. It's a very early show in February, which is a silly time to have a show in upper part of Michigan, but they came down to advertise the nationals, and both those guys turned out to be car guys, which is an oddball thing in IPMS in general to have two car guys in the same car in the same chapter, but they were very helpful. And Chris, who's the webmaster for this year's nationals, was my other judge. And if there's any question as to our judging that day, that's what happens when you don't, you schedule conflicting, and I can't get friends in to judge and be more lenient. We had actual IPMS judges, and they were pencil whipping the rule book, so it is what it is. We certainly gave out less. If there was ever any confusion that an open judging system is a participation trophy, you were disabused of that very quickly on Saturday in Pittsburgh. Let me tell you. So that is what it is, I guess. So enough bumbling around that. John, when was the first time you ever built a model kit? Let's go on to more interesting subject matter here.
John, tell us about yourself.
Tell us about John. When did John get started? How did John get started?
Well, I'm fairly new to this. Actually, I've only been doing it for the past 2 years. Wow. I did build some as a young kid, but I was a huge hockey player, so that kind of took all the time away from doing all that stuff. But I still remember the three kits that my parents got me. One was I think it was an AMT Diamond Reel, that black truck.
Yep.
I believe. And then they got me two cars. One was the Mazda 787 from Tamiya, And they got me also, what was it, the Tamiya Jaguar, was it XJR 9LM, I believe it was.
Right, yeah.
So I remember just building those 3 kits, and then I built a couple of dragster kits, the Kenny Burdenstein dragster kits and stuff they had back then. I did a couple of that, and then obviously, hockey took over, kind of college, real life, family, and then I just kind of left it, right? And didn't do anything for, 27 years, and then I got kind of later on in my career now, and I wanted to kind of pick it back up because I always enjoyed looking at it, watching it, right? I mean, I watched YouTube videos over the years of people kind of doing it, and it kind of sparked the interest again to go ahead and do it. So 2 years, actually just a little over 2 years ago, this past January is when I decided, hey, I'm going to do it. And so we started to do it, and it was a trial by fire. I'm the type of guy, right, that I watch a ton of YouTube videos, read a ton of stuff, right? You try to absorb it, take it all in, but until you do it, you really don't know, right? I mean, because there's so many techniques. And at first I thought I wanted to do F1 cars because I'm a huge F1 fan. I love F1. Grew up watching NASCAR, but kind of moved away from that, and really like the European sports cars, the GT series, and certainly F1. So I said, you know what, I'm going to start doing F1 kits. So I bought a whole bunch of F1 kits, and it was so funny. So for like the first 6 months of model building, I didn't build anything. I destroyed about 15 kits. Like literally, and the reason why is, I'm the type of guy, when I jump in, I jump into the deep end, right? It's not baby steps. It's, I'm the golfer that can't golf, but goes and buys the $2,000 golf clubs and look like Tiger Woods, but puts the ball into the trees on the first tee type of deal, right? So it was a big curveball because at first, even the paint, I didn't know, that you couldn't put lacquers with acrylics. You couldn't put enamels, you couldn't mix them. So I thought at first I'd start doing it. And my first car actually that I started to paint was the Tamiya GT3, AMG GT3. And I started to paint it, but I did like lacquers and acrylics. And after it just started to do whatever it wanted to do, right, it looked horrible. Like the paints all reacted together, and I was just like, there's got to be something I'm doing wrong, right? So again, I go back to YouTube and I'm watching, people like James and stuff doing stuff, and I thought, what am I doing wrong here? So, I went to some model shows right at the beginning, and I started talking to people, right? I was like, hey, like asking questions about their kits, how they did stuff. Joined a local hobby club here at one of the hobby stores, and just started to learn from there from people that knew, right? And it was a really good experience because they could kind of guide you on the way to learning what you needed to do and how you needed to do it. You still had to learn it yourself, but at least it showed me the right path on where I need to go to actually put something together. So finally, after about 6 months, I kind of cobbled something together, and I actually did. I had showed James that. It was so funny. I did another Tamiya AMG GT3, but I was really enthralled with the decals, and actually it was James's YouTube that I seen, and I actually ordered.
Say another James's fault.
Set of decals, right? From those the whole. The whole anime decal set, right? And I got them, and I thought, oh, this is going to be awesome. Well, there was 157 decals, and so I started to put them together, and I was just like, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I need to kind of step back and do something a little bit easier." So I got through it. It worked out, Didn't turn out too bad, and I know I was quite proud of it. There was mistakes with the windows on it, stuff like that, with the glue, because I didn't know what glue to use properly and how to do it, and kind of how to do some of the stuff on it. But it was a good learning experience, and then it just kind of progressed from there. And I think, for at least for myself, kind of destroying a bunch of kits really helped me learn really quickly and get fairly good fairly quickly, right? All I did was watch YouTube. All I did was read, articles. Everything that I could do to kind of take it into to better myself is what I was trying to do, because I'm a pretty competitive person. And I always grew up in a competitive sports environment. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to do kits. Yes, I enjoyed it, but I wanted to do kits for shows. That's my thing. I'm a show guy, right? I want to go out and I want to compete. I really like the camaraderie of the shows. I really like meeting the people, seeing their builds, asking them what they're doing, right? Because I really like to learn off of people. But I wanted to partake in that. And so I just kind of started from there, and then I built a couple of Aoshima kits. I built, I think, the Fujimi Porsche 911. I put the Flying Lizard or Flying Lizard?
Flying Lizard,
from Scale Motorsports, right? Because one of my problems was when I got into it, I was like, it becomes, so you have the hobby of building, but then you have the hobby of buying. And my issue is, first, I wanted to, like I mentioned, I wanted to do all F1 kits. So I went out and all I got was F1 kits from around the world. And my luck, I met a gentleman, his name is John, and he lived in Japan for, I think, about 15 years. Huge modeler, moved back to Canada, and he had posted some kits online. So I had one of the first kind of F1 kits I purchased was the Ferrari, the F1, the what is it? The 112 kit.
SF90?
No.
The old Honda, like the 1960s Honda.
No. Oh my God, why did I just draw a blank on it?
So they made a bunch of 112 kits. That's the problem.
Yeah, it was the red Ferrari from I think. Who drove it?
40?
No, not
the red would be an MP44. I think is what you're looking for.
No, that's McLaren.
Okay.
The Ferrari is anyways. It I bought it for the 112 Ferrari.
Look up scale mates in the background here.
Yeah, exactly. Open that up, and I had bought that, and I started talking to this gentleman, and he had more kits. Well, I was like, "Oh, show me." And he had a ton of 112 kits that I just loved. So, of course, I went and purchased like every 112 kit there was, F1 kit, and then every F1 kit that there was. Doesn't matter what it was, from Ebro, from the McLarens, to all the Tamiya kits, to the harder Tamiya kits, to those, to the Ferraris. I purchased everything. And then, of course, what happened is you kind of deep dive into it. I needed to get every aftermarket decal and every aftermarket part that came with the kits. So that became just its own hobby in itself, right? To start collecting all this stuff. And somebody said in the chat.
Lost interest.
And then I lost interest because, well, it was so funny. So I oh my God. I probably purchased 200 F1 kits. And then I lost interest because I had started watching more YouTube, and I had found it was the one from the 90s, I believe.
So the 641 too.
Yep.
All right, there you go.
So I kind of lost interest in the F1 kits. So I was like, oh geez, because I had seen actually Mr. Tester, and then I noticed some of the kit box and Alpha Model resin kits. So I was like, oh, I really like that. I really like that wide body type of looking car, right? So then I was like, oh, I'm going to build those. Like that's that's really, really kind of what I'm interested in. So I purchased a whole bunch of Alpha Model, a whole bunch of kit box PZY kits. And then Hobby Design Kits has kind of full kits and trans kits, right? So I did a bunch of research on that and bought all the Hobby Design trans kits for like all the Tamiya cars that there was. And that's really kind of my interest right now. That's where I really love to be. I really love 3D printing, 3D printing the wide bodies, kind of 3D printing the engines and all the accessories to it. And I really like that genre of wide body. You don't often see that on the tables, at least up here you don't. And that's kind of my niche. So yeah, now I have all these F1 kits that I got to get rid of because, I'm probably never going to build them. And certainly I really love the wide body aspect of it. So yeah, like I said, I'm pretty new. It's only been a couple of years, but I really enjoy it. I have to say everybody's been really good. The community is really nice. It's funny when you go to the shows, and I mean, you gentlemen have been doing it way longer than I have. 99% of the guys are great. They're more than happy to tell you what they're doing and how they're doing it. And then you just ask the wrong one or two guys that gatekeep everything. And it's like a national secret that they don't want to tell you anything because they feel that, you might get one leg up on them or something like that. Right. Which is too bad. But very, very little do I ever run into that. The rest of them are really, really nice. So it's nice to be able to have those types of people and learn from them and kind of grow from watching them do stuff and them kind of teaching you. So it's been a really fun experience and I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, started later on in my life, but I'll certainly be doing this till I'm dead. It's a pretty fun experience. And like I said, I like competing. I do want to try and get down to a couple of the shows to the US there in the next little bit to kind of experience that. So yeah, that's kind of how we.
I was going to say, it sounds like you're gotten into 3D printing too.
I have. Mr. Tester and we talked a ton. It was funny. I wanted to start with the wide body kits, right? And there's really nobody in Canada. I believe there's one company out of Vancouver. I forget their names. They're pretty big. They do a lot of 3D printed stuff. But I had found like Texas 3D Customs, companies like that. The gentleman that came on Joel last week, or your last show, sorry. And so I bought in a couple of stuff from them, right? But just the exchange, the shipping to get it up here. I mean, after you're all said and done for even for a wide body kit, you're into it for at least $80 or $100. So it's a lot of money. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I can do this. And I was watching Mr. Tester's channel, and he had a bunch of 3D printing that he was doing, and not many YouTubers kind of show kind of the process, right? And so I watched a bunch of James's videos, and I'm like, hey, I can do that. Oh,
if this idiot can do it, I
can do that. That looks pretty damn easy. So I'd first purchased myself what was it? Anycubic Mono 2. It was a 4K small, like it's a 7-inch little printer, and I decided, hey, I'm going to print. Right? Like I said, when I dive deep, I dive deep. So I get it set up, and I do a bunch of research. I watch James's videos, and I go to Cults, and I download a couple of files. I put them in, and lo and behold, nothing prints. I'm just like, okay, like what's going on here, right? Why isn't this not printing? So, I read a bunch of stuff, and there's so much out there pertaining to kind of resin printing and stuff like that. And as much as there's stuff out there, it's really hard to kind of set you in the right direction. Let's say it's very broad, but it's really hard to show you how to use the slicer, maybe what resins to use, how to use the configurations in the slicer, stuff like that to get your prints out. So for the first 20 times I did it, no word of a lie, nothing was on the plate. Or if I had something on the plate, I was so excited, because it took forever to print. A little piece of like resin was on the plate, and that was it. And I was just like, okay, what's going on here? So I thought to myself, there's got to be something wrong here. You know what? Maybe I need a better printer. So I go to the marketplace and I see a Saturn II 8K, and I do a bunch of research on it and find out, Elegoo, it seems to be a bit more user friendly, stuff like that. So I buy it, I bring it home, and I try to set it up a little bit, and my first print printed. And I was just in amazement, right? I was like, it worked, it printed. So yeah, and then it created just an animal from there. As James Wells knows, because like I said, we speak about it all the time. I started printing off of that, and then I was like, okay, I got to get something better here, because I need to print more stuff. So at that time they had the Saturn the Saturn Ultra, right, the 12K. So I purchased it and started just printing and really just learning the nuances of 3D printing, right? Understanding, how to use the slicer, how do you, set the exposures correctly, what resins to use. And it kind of just built from there to where now I think I'm pretty good at it.
No, you're selling yourself short. You're the best printer I know. Seriously.
No, I appreciate that. I really wanted to get good at it, right? Because what I had found is some of the 3D printed stuff that I had originally purchased either had a lot of like layer lines to it, and you had to sand them out, which is fine. I mean, a lot of times you get some of that, or what had happened was you would get let's say you purchase an engine, or you purchase some of the smaller bits, and it came, but it was still on the supports. And then when you go to take them off the supports, if you're not like super careful, everything just broke and it shattered. Well, I thought to myself, well, I can't continue to do this. So that's where I started to learn how to do this, and I've read a ton on 3D printing. I have now 2 Saturns that I print off of, and I've really done a ton of calibration, learning about the resins, and I can get a pretty good print. I can print the body without a resin line in it, any type of marks on it. Like I said, James and I, James had the great comment there, but I learned a lot from Mr. Tester, right? Because he really kind of set it in the direction on where to go, which I appreciate, because not a lot of people on YouTube kind of like take the beginner aspect of it and kind of show you step by step on how to print and what to do. And you see a lot of people and they print stuff, right? They get a printer and they print it, but there's a difference between being able to print something, and there's a difference being able to print something that is of super high quality. And that's what I wanted to do for myself. So, and I often have people now kind of reach out to me and say, hey, will you print me this? Will you print me that? Because we've seen your stuff, which is really nice. It's nice to get that type of compliment. But it was kind of full-fledged into the 3D printing, because as you well know, and Sean, you showed the guitars and the amps and stuff like that. I think, as you gentlemen can attest, over the years, you use different types of wires and different types of fabrics and stuff like that. But I think when 3D printing came in, and now I think it's really good for the hobby, because it's making the hobby, it's revolutionizing the hobby to be able to give you even more to the basic Revell and AT kits and stuff like that. You're able to really be creative in what you can do with this type of stuff, because like Alpha Model and Kitbox PZY, they make amazing kits. Those resin kits are top quality now, perfect. But not everybody has $200 and $300 to throw towards these kits, because they're quite expensive. But but if somebody, you put a little time and effort into it, there's a bit of an upfront cost with the printers, right? You don't have to go full-fledged 16Ks. If you become good at it, I truly believe, I always tell people the sweet spot, I really believe, is like an 8K. That Saturn II 8K can print extremely well. You can pick them up on Marketplace, for 100, 150, 170 bucks. Not a lot of money, and you can get into it. And if you take, it's not the hardware that's the issue. It's really taking the time to learn the slicer software and how to become proficient in it. Because once you become proficient in the slicer software, the rest is butter. The machines just do what they're designed to do, right?
Right. They do what they told. Yeah, they do exactly what they're told to do. Right.
So the 3D resin printing, I really believe, is being able to take this hobby to the next level, and I think you need that. It's funny, when you go to a lot of these shows, you see a lot of people. They're middle to older age gentlemen, right? There's not the 20-year-old kids that are there anymore. And if they are, a lot of them are younger and they're into the Gundam, right? They like those kind of robots and stuff. But hopefully, with 3D printing, this can open the doors to allow, because kids nowadays, let's face it, they're really good at computers, right? That's kind of their thing. They grew up with technology, and hopefully they get introduced to the model side of it, and they're able to introduce themselves over to the resin 3D printed side to be able to, kind of intermingle both of those together to keep the hobby going, because, there's only so many old people that are building. And unfortunately, if that crowd goes, what's it going to look like 15, 20 years from now? Right. So I believe you need those types of evolutions to be able to keep it going, to allow, and it even allows people like yourself that have been doing it for for a million years to be creative, right? To be able to do stuff that you normally wouldn't do or be able to do if you didn't have that type of outlet to get those types of parts. So it's nice to see,
Like Sean taking those stuff that I printed, cobbling them all together, and yeah, for sure.
No, 100%. And somebody mentioned in chat, it's a hobby upon itself. And if you're like I said, if you're willing to spend the time, you can create amazing things. And what's nice is, you can be creative on your part to be able to go to these shows, especially if you want to, be part of these shows, to be able to really show what you can do. So that's what I really love about it too. And it allows you to be a bit more creative with what you're doing. So that's nice.
Hey, John, I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned earlier, I was curious, what do you do for a living, and how does that play a role in your hobby?
Well, actually, I work for the municipality that I live in. I'm actually an operations manager for the roads department. So I take care of like all the snow plows and stuff like that, because it snows in Canada a lot, right? Just like
It does? I had no idea.
So there's really no correlation between what I do and
you haven't built a snowplow yet, like 1/25th scale snowplow?
No, I think does an AMT or something have a snowplow truck, the orange one or something like that? Yeah, it's pretty cool. So no, there's no correlation. I know there was a gentleman that you had on. I forget. He's in Canada. You guys know he's an engineer. He builds you had him on there in the last year. Makes amazing models. Super talented. And I always I'm in awe of people like that, because that gentleman, Clay Kemp, I believe, he works in the model industry himself, right? For, I think James had said
Salvinos, yeah, it does work.
And that gentleman out on the West Coast there, he's like an engineer or something like that. And what I really like to see is people that are really bright in their careers like that kind of build stuff. They're really able to take their kits to the next level, because they have that engineering background, right? And they're able to either 3D print stuff or build stuff from scratch. And implement it, which is just amazing to see. I mean, it's way outside my realm of being able to do stuff, but I really enjoy looking at stuff like that because
I'm curious, what sort of things do you struggle with as a model builder?
So I guess,
Or what do you find most challenging?
you know what, I kind of like it all. I guess the most challenging for me would be taking the idea that I have in my head and trying to implement it into my kit, let's say. So, everything I do, every kit I built, and I mean, I haven't built many kits, all right? I've built, God, probably, 2, 4, what, 8 or 9 kits, right, in the past year and a half. But every kit that I've built, I've tried to do something different. So I wanted to learn how to do carbon fiber decals scratch built, So I bought a whole bunch of carbon fiber decals, did them on a model. I wanted to do how to do paint properly. So, on one of the models, I really tried to do, the paint. The RX-7 that I mentioned to you, Sean, that one there is, I want to build kind of like a time attack race car. So I had built one of my kits with a 3D resin engine in it, and I know I did a bunch of kind of detailing to it, but this one here I want to kind of take it over the top and just learn more. So every kit that I build, I'm always doing something different to it. I'm learning to do wiring. I'm learning to do the wide bodies. What I like about the wide body kits is you take a normal kit, and as we all know, even if you print them the best, they still need massaging, right? They still need to be sanded down. The body needs to be manipulated. Everything else to be able to fit it correctly. Well, I really like that aspect of being able to put the kits together like that and taking the challenge of it not fitting correctly and making it fit correctly, right? And a lot of times I try to kind of take the real world automotive products and bring them in to what I'm doing. So I'm just constantly learning. Every kit I'm doing, I'm trying to do something different. And what I'll do is I'll try different techniques on a kit on spots that you'll never see. So like if it screws up or it doesn't, something happens, you don't see it. So I try to learn like that to be better. And I'm constantly watching, YouTube channels and stuff like that. You guys, I watch a lot of Asian streamers too. They're amazing at building. I still watch them build F1 kits. They're really big in the F1 kits over there, and just their techniques on how they do it, and what they do, and trying different paints out too, right? I've bought a million paints, from out in Thailand to Pro Scale in England, all the Tamiya, all the Mr. Hobby, just to kind of see how they interact, what different types that you can get, right, and kind of just implement it in what I'm doing, type of deal.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, Mr. Duff, do you have any of John's models queued up that we could take a look at?
John's models? What? You don't say. I do. Let me see here. How do we get around this? All right, here we go. So, this is a Volkswagen van. Be prepared, John, to explain yourself on this.
Wow.
So, it's funny when I decided to build this. I'm not a van guy by any means. And I know a lot of people enjoy VWs and stuff like that, and VWs don't interest me. It just wasn't. But I really love the wide body on it. So this is a Kitbox the black box wide body for it that I printed, and on this particular kit, it's the Revell Samba bus, and this kit here. I wanted to learn how to do carbon fiber decals. So I kind of made templates of all the wide body kit, and I did all the carbon fiber decals myself to just learn how to lay them out, how they kind of went down, what to do with them, and kind of this is what this was. It was a really nice kit, actually. It was so funny, like when you cut the kit, you got to cut into the door and you got to cut into the actual frame, and on the passenger side, you got to cut into the chassis almost right up to the driver, like the passenger seat. So when you try to fit it all together, it's actually quite difficult because the kit becomes extremely flimsy. So when you're putting the wide body kit on it, it wants to kind of cave in on itself, right? And I'm sure there was techniques that probably I didn't know how to put this on, but it turned out really well. That one there was painted with Tamiya lacquers, so I did a Mr. Hobby silver base to it, and then that was metallic red and metallic black that I sprayed over top of it. And it was funny. The roof rack was actually a roof rack I found. It's actually for the VW car from Black Box. It's supposed to go on the car, but I didn't know that they have, like, I guess for the buses, they were a bit more low profile. Obviously, they weren't sticking up as high. But I had no idea about that. So I just printed it, and I thought, I'll make kind of like a Southern California kind of surf van. And then I just 3D printed the surfboard and got a couple of decals and just threw it on. So it turned out really well. And that was one of the kits that I brought to one of the shows. And it was funny, the night before the show, because it was IPMS Hamilton, which is about 7 hours from me. So we stayed overnight, and while I was going down, the roof rack broke off of it. So I was just like, oh my God. But the gods were on my side that night. When it broke off, it broke clean. So, well, of course, not knowing anything, all I did was bring some glue. Well, I brought some glue, and I didn't know how to fix it. So I'd found, because it was an Airbnb, some wooden spoons. So I shaved the wooden spoons down to almost like toothpicks so I could work it back in. And I spent about an hour and a half, because the actual, the roof rack itself, it broke off the van. But the stanchions, two of the legs broke with it too. So I had to re-glue everything back on to set it in, and it worked out really well. So that was a really fun kit to build. A lot of people really enjoyed seeing it at the show, and it was funny. That was one of the first shows. So I've only gone to 4 shows, and that was the first one that I went to, and it placed. I think it placed second in the category. So I was ecstatic, right? I mean, I really just went to learn, and I was just happy to have my model on the table. I had no expectations of what it was going to do. So no, it was a nice little kit to build. It was fun. I actually bought the 1/16 scale one. So I wanted a 1/16 one just like that. Something, you normally never see on the tables. So I'm going to build a 1/16 bus with a wide body kit to it, and I'll do something.
You can scale that up on the printer, and
exactly, I'll just scale it up and kind of go from there. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Print out some 1/16 scale hippies.
That's right. That's right.
Now, you plan to go to Heritage Con again this year?
Heritage Con, I believe, is on the 29th. So
yes, it's this weekend coming. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's funny. A few of the gentlemen that I do go with, they're backing out. So actually, I still might go. I'll just drive there. So it's 7 hours, but if you speed a little bit, I could probably get there in about 6 hours. So which is not a big deal for me. So I'm on the fence of whether or not I want to go. It's an amazing show. Last year, there was over 1,000 kits on the table. And there was over 3,000 people that went through the door on a Sunday at that show.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think it was like 2 years ago. The fire marshal actually had to shut the Heritage Museum down because there were too many people in it.
Yeah, it's close to you guys too, right? It's close to Buffalo. It's close to Syracuse, upstate New York. Even
I was gonna say, I think it's actually closer for me to get there than it is for you. Ironically,
100%. Because I think James, you had mentioned you're what, 3.5 hours away from Hamilton when we spoke?
Right.
So, Mr. Duff, you're probably right around there, I believe?
We're 4 to Buffalo, so
away,
so that's what, 5 maybe all the way there.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's an amazing show. Super well done. Yeah, it's fabulous. So kind of on the fence whether or not I'll go again. I do have some kits that I want to bring. So
you could bring some F1 kits for sale.
Well, all the tables are sold out. I mean, God, what do they have? Like 150, 160 vendor tables?
Wow.
Like a huge amount of vendor tables.
I was going to say, you could afford more Alpha models if you'd sell some of those F1 kits.
100%.
Speaking of resin, and this is not an Alpha models kit, but Mr. Chester has one of these, and we all lament the fact he hasn't built it yet.
Yes.
Oh wow. Neat.
So this is
PZY.
A PZY kit box, Lamborghini Aventador,
Silhouette.
Evo Silhouette, yeah.
Yeah.
Liberty Walk, obviously.
These kits here, I couldn't get them, but there's a gentleman in Australia that sells them. And I actually got the Roadster and I got the Coupe because I wanted both. And an amazing kits. This is when this is the second resin kit I built. Went together amazingly well. What I don't like about the kits is the instructions. If you get 6 pages, right, in double-sided, and really a page and a half is the instructions, but it's not even in numerical form. So it's not like, step 1, do this, step 2, do this. It's just a picture, and you just put shit on it, and it doesn't tell you in that picture what step to put the parts in. So there's I'm sure you guys will bring it up. The other kits I put together, I put together the pieces all wrong. And one thing I do is I CA glue everything. So whether or not I'm building a plastic model or I'm building a resin, I use CA glue for everything. So these are a little tricky, but a beautiful kit. It turned out really well. I did the yellow and black on it. This one actually won in one of the shows. It won first place and actually won best of paint. I know the picture doesn't show it, but it turned out like flawless. The clear and that's just I believe it's just normal Tamiya because I use lacquers for all my bodies, so that's just the normal. I think is it bright yellow or you just yellow? Do they have a bright yellow?
They have a yellow. They have a chrome yellow. They have like a more camel yellow that's more appropriate to the.
Maybe that's just yellow.
Yeah, it might just be yellow.
And then there's just yellow. It
turned out really well. It was an amazing kit. I really love that type of look, and so no, it turned out really nice.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it was a challenge. It's a challenge because some of the parts don't fit really well. Like they get warped, even in a cast resin kind of environment, they get warped. But no, this turned out really, really, really well. It's a very nice kit to build. I'm really excited to actually build the coupe.
What color?
Yeah, these types of kits are a bit more challenging to build than just a snap to get from Revell or something. They don't fall together. They take a little bit of modeling skill.
So that's obviously the Kitbox PZY, the Lexus LC 500, the wide body kit. This one here was a challenge. So at first I wanted to build, the aviator kind of style, the combat style kits. Mr. Hobby has it, and they have kind of like the P-51 decals or a shark mouth to it and stuff like that. And I wanted to build it like that. Well, I don't know what happened on this one, but the resin kind of reacted, and it was quite the challenge to do this kit. I actually painted this kit 4 times, and I had to strip it. And every time I stripped it, I used after I clear coated it, some of the resin actually started to bubble under it, and I have no idea why. I don't know if it was something that I did or just a bad reaction, but it started to bubble under the paint. So I had to I had clear coated it and nothing was taking it off. So I had to put it in lacquer thinner, and it just, of course, ate everything away. And then I repainted it again, and the same thing happened. So I put it in brake fluid. But then what happened was after I did it 4 times, the resin itself started to get small little like chips in it. It became brittle, and it was pigmented with small holes everywhere, almost like it was getting eaten. So then I went and got Automotive body finish filler, and I did the whole body. I sanded the whole body over, and I rescribed all the lines again. So it was a bit of a challenge. I think a lot of it was probably my own fault, just kind of doing some stuff. But really nice looking kit. I think it's one of those kits that you don't see built from anybody else. And I wanted to kind of do something, like James and I talk about all the time. These kits are kits that no other buddy has. So when you put it on the table, it kind of stands out too, right? Because there's not very many of these kits. So it turned out really nice, though. It was a really nice kit to build.
Yeah, lucky you were able to save it.
What's that, Sean?
I said luckily you were able to save it.
Yeah. I went to an auto body shop, and I said, "Listen, guys, I need something that drives really quick, that's super thin to spread, because typically, the compounds, either Mr. Hobby or different stuff like that, like it's not very good. It gets like a crust on it. Even if you use like the Bondo, the premix Bondo you can get at the Automotive store. But I wanted something almost like yogurt, because it needed that really thin layer put on it. So I had gotten they use it for finishing, I guess, small scratches at finishing, and it worked really well. I was able to spread it on the body, Sean, and sand it, but it took a lot of work. Like, it was way more work than you'd normally typically do, but it became a challenge then that I wanted to finish the kit and not kind of let it go, so it turned out really well, though. It was a nice kit to build.
When Ben says,
yep. Between the resin and the brake fluid. That's exactly what happened. I cleaned it way too many times.
Traditionally speaking, you can't stick resin in brake fluid like you can a plastic car model. It'll eat it.
Well, and that's probably where it started to really get, pigmented and kind of chipped and stuff like that, and brittle, and not knowing, right? But it ate it away, and so. But it turned out real. It turned out good. So that was nice.
So, as Sean said, good save on that.
Yeah, it was a good save. You don't want to throw away a $250 kit. That's for damn sure.
No, ideally not.
Until you get it right?
Yeah. This one was the first actually kit that I did.
That's really cool.
This was the Alpha Model Lamborghini Huracan STO. Really nice kit. I really like supercars. This was the one where I kind of learned to put everything together. It was funny. So when you build these types of kits, right, the resin body, you have to put the dash in first, then you put, the side panels for the doors, and then you put, the tub in for the seats. Well, I knew none of that. So I'm like, I just started gluing stuff in with CA glue, and I'm thinking to myself, I put the side panel, like the door panels in. I'm like, I can't put the front windshield in. So there I am chiseling away at this, this resin kit to try and pop these panels off. Thank God I was able to get it off. Took some time, but super nice kit. I really like the genre of it. Turned out really well. It was a fun challenge. What I like about these kits too is it's just resin and photo edge. And the photo edge is a challenge upon itself to do it right and correctly and make it look good within the model itself. So even though it's kind of it's box stock, right? It's just what comes out of the box. They're a real nice challenge.
Sean, we've got to get you one.
Yeah.
Maybe someday. They are super nice kits. That car in particular is pretty cool. I've seen a real one of those in person. And they're neat. Someday.
Yeah,
say, like you were saying, the downfall, especially because PZY kit boxes instructions have been getting better and better as time goes on. The one that came with the most recent kit, the M3, the new M3, I think it is, or was it the other one? I can't remember which one I complimented on your video.
The A12 Aperta.
Yeah, the A12 Aperta. It's actually like in a build sequence. It has not only the build sequence, but what it's supposed to look like when it's done. Alpha models is 4 pages front and back of a vague guide of what this might look like someday should you choose to accept your mission. And one of the things that really kills them in the sense of, if you've never built one of these before, as you found out, is that the picture of the interior shows the interior assembled like it would be on a model kit. And so you go, I'll just put this all together and shove it up in there. And no, the dashboard attaches to the underside of the hood, the side panels. I think I'm trying to think of which one of the Aston Martins it is, that in order to get the thing in there, the way the dashboard is designed is you have to put the driver's side door panel on the model, the dashboard in under the hood, and then stick the passenger one in through the window. Otherwise the tub won't go in. And it's like it's a unique design feature. Somebody get Doug Marone out for his quirks and features. But it's like, that's not in the instructions anywhere. You wouldn't, unless you just test fit that over and over again, you'd never know that you shouldn't glue both door panels in and then just put the bottom on like you normally would. So it's a hoot nanny. That's what it is.
And I mean that's my gripe with these kits. I mean, they're amazing kits. I love them. I mean, I have bought multiple. I have practically every kit from both companies and multiples of every kit because I just love them so much. But as a beginner, right? And I'm still a beginner. And if they want people to build these kits, you have to build a better instructions for it because it's not intuitive, as you said, Mr. Duff. It's and if you screw up, I mean, these are not $40 kits that you can just go and buy again. You're putting a lot of money into this, and you want it to turn out nice. But you shouldn't have to try and figure out each of the steps. And even I've built I've only built 3 of them, right? But it's been easier on my 3rd one. But you're still kind of second guessing yourself when you're putting it together, whether or not what you're doing is correct. Because if you do make a mistake, you possibly can ruin the kit itself, right? You can kind of brick it. So I just wish, but to your point, PZY is doing it. Alpha Model, they are to your point, 4 pages. Here's the picture, put it together, kid. Kind of thing. So
I've thought of doing reviews, like build reviews of these kits and make sort of an instruction manual, video. But my target audience is only 200 people who bought the kit. So.
And only 2 of those actually build the kit. They sit in a pile like most models.
Maybe 3 would build the kit if you actually did the instructions for it.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe. The one thing that they've done is they put out these booklets that they call build guides, and then when you get them, they're just basically someone's, build sheet of it. It's not really like it's not Alpha Models themselves creating one to tell you how to build the model. It's some guys, I don't want to make it sound dismissive because it's not really, but it's basically like if you took a bunch of pictures of it while you're building it and then made one of those little print it yourself build books that you would put out with a model. Like it's some of them are more informative than others, but it depends on who wrote it and who built the model kit and what their ability, their photography ability, and what their writing ability is and stuff like that. They were, oh yeah, we have these build guides, they're going to be great. I'm like, this is just somebody's build book on this. This isn't. I could build it the way they did, but it's also 2 pages of them telling me what paint they used. I don't care about that. I want to know which way the door panels go in, so I have to put it in through the rear window or something like that.
They have a site, don't they, guys? Modeler, something that you can buy.
Modeler site, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how well the guides are. I just kind of, I think you got to buy them, don't you?
Yeah, you do. They've sent me a couple of them to look at because at this point, I'm I've got the discount train at Alpha models, price range, and again, the ones that I've seen, the ones that I've been sent, even though I have the kits, it's like I don't know that this would really help me. It's not answering any of the questions I had. It's just how this guy built this. So let's wake up the audience and show them American Iron here.
So there was something that I wanted to do a little bit different. So I wanted to try a wide body. This is obviously the Revell 70 Challenger. So I think I 3D printed this in Nitro Labs, I believe. I think they kind of have a partnership or something with Black Box because some of their stuff is kind of intermingled. So this is a Nitro Labs wide body. I kind of liked the look of the car. I wanted to do, learn to do a few things on this. So this one in particular, I cut the back seat out, made kind of a tub. You can kind of see through the picture there. I did a roll cage, 3D printed the racing seats. Did a bunch of photo edge with the seat belts. Kind of cut out the front of the grill. Put some mesh behind the front of the grill to give it more of that little bit, I guess, meaner look to it. 3D printed some of, I think those are Black Box actual tires. They're 20-inch rims. And the funny thing is on the Nitro Labs, it didn't have any side skirts. And I wanted some side skirts. So actually, those side skirts are from the Black Box 69 Camaro. And what I did was in the slicer, I made them a little bit bigger because the Camaro body from wheel to wheel is a little bit more narrower. So I needed to stretch them out. So in the slicer, I manipulated them a bit, printed a couple of different versions of it, and used some of that. The engine, I believe, was from, I think it's from Motas. Is it Motas, Mr.
Motobus.
Motobus, yeah.
That's one of their 440 engines, and then I put a big block on it. So this was the first time that I did any wiring to it. So I just put on, and listen, I'm not an engine guy. I'm not a mechanic. So I just put, a little electronic box in. I printed a Willwood brake booster, wired it up, wired the battery. And then, I wanted to make sure that the wires were in scale. I even did the distributor. And the funny thing is, the big debate that I see online is, when you wire engine, you got to put it in the correct firing pattern, right? Because, the purest of everybody, when they look at a model, they know that it's in the proper firing order. Well, you know what? For just shits and giggles and just for fun, I went online. I seen how one of these engines were wired, and I wired it in the correct firing pattern just to say that I did. There was no other reason why. But this one here did some wiring. I 3D printed the radiator, had like Mopar on the top of the radiator, and did some wiring and stuff like that. So it turned out really nice. This one here, actually, it was funny. I put it in. It was it's called an all-out category. So where people, you put all your builds in, and it took first place at one of the shows, which was really nice. I did all the carbon fiber myself on the wide body and the kind of the tail on the trunk there. So yeah, it turned out well. The paint here I used was it's Plum Crazy, and it's from a company in the US. Splash Paints. That's it. Thank you, James. I bought some real nice paint. Turned out really well. Easy to put down, and then I just 2K'd it. I 2K all my models. And it turned out like this. So my 2K, it's funny, James and I kind of
tell the audience about your 2K.
So I watch people 2K, right? And I'm the type of person that I don't want to sand. I don't want to spend any time. I want to do it, and I want to do it quickly. Now, is that the wrong way to do it? 100%. Because there's times where I screw up, and only because of me rushing, right? But you see when people are doing 2K, and they'll lay down, their first layer, and they'll let it flash for 10 or 15 minutes, and it's thicker, right? and then they'll come back out and they'll grab it and they'll put a little bit medium coat on it, and they'll let that flash for 10 or 15 minutes. And then sometimes what they'll do is I've seen their third coat is heavier, but they'll take a little, Unicorn Tier, some Mr. Hobby, and they'll put a bit into it, make it a bit runnier, let it kind of go over the body. Well, I'm like, there's got to be an easier way than this. And then what they do is they take it out and they block sand it. They sand it all down, from like 3,000, 5,000, 8,000, 10,000, all the way up to 12 if you want to do it. And I'm like, and then they buff it. They get the coarse compound, the medium compound, and the fine compound. And I'm like, no, we're not doing any of that. So what I do, and I don't recommend it, but I mean, James and I talk about this all the time. I will literally, I have a food dehydrator. I think if anybody that paints and does car bodies and wants to do it well, you need a food dehydrator. And I told Mr. Tester to get one, and I think, it was the best thing that happened. If you're to do paint, you need one of those. First, it helps with the flash. I truly believe that. It helps harden it a lot quicker. And actually, I really believe after you've done your 2K clear coat, it helps level it better than just sitting it in a box or any of that, just letting kind of the natural elements do it. So what I'll do is I will do my 2K, and normally it's 4 parts to 1, right? So I'll do a big batch of it, and literally I'll put 12 milliliters of the actual 2K. I'll put 4 milliliters of the hardener, and I put 3 milliliters of Mr. Hobby Unicorn Tears thinner right in it on the first batch. And literally what I do is I take a 0.5 trigger and I spray it on, and I literally coat it. And I almost coat it to where it's clear glass, and I'll take that and I'll put it in dehydrator. But typically in the dehydrator, and what I found out, because I screwed up a ton of times on this, the dehydrator, if you're to do your bodies or you do any resin or you do any kind of like 3D printing, you want it at the lowest setting. So that's about, 95 or whatever it's set at. Because what happens is at the higher settings, it warps everything. It's too hot. Well, me not knowing, I throw it in the first time and it's like an easy bake oven, and I take it out and the damn thing looks like a boomerang. And I'm just like, oof. Oh, I don't think the heat kind of affected it, right? So I'll put my first layer down. I'll throw it in, but I'll on my first layer. The funny thing is I'll throw it in at its highest setting. I'll literally bake it for 5 minutes, and I'll let it run probably 5 minutes before that, and I'll let it set to almost a tack coat. I literally take it out, and I hose that body down until I get a mere finish in my hand. And people are like, "Oh well, it's going to look too thick." It's going to. Absolutely not. That Mr. Hobby leveling thinner in it turns it into water. Now you got to be super careful because it's so liquidy that you can easily make it run off the model, because it's literally like spraying water. There's no more consistency. There's no more density to the 2K. It's literally just like, but I spray it and I have a big light and I'll spray it to where it's perfectly glass looking. Once I like that look and I have nothing, I put it in dehydrator on its lowest setting, and I'll leave it there for 10 hours. And I just dehydrate it. I will literally take it out, and I never have to sand it, polish it, or any of that. All my kits that you've seen, none of them have been polished or sanded, except if I screwed up and I needed to fix it. I don't want to kind of do all that. I don't find that enjoyable, but it's kind of a different way. It really is it the wrong way? Yeah, but it works for me. I know James has tried it a couple of times. He's like, I sprayed on, and I can't. But trust me, once you get the technique down, and if you can pull your model out with that glass finish, you never have. The only thing that I do to it is once I start building it, I literally take a microfiber rag and I wipe my finger marks off of it. That's it. And I just throw it on the table. And we go from there with it. So it's kind of an unorthodox way. It's fun. I always tell people, I might try it. I said, do it. Even if you don't do it to the extent that I do it, you 100%, if you're going to 2K a model, you have to use a thinner in it. I truly believe that. It helps, even if it's in the last the last spray, it really helps level off everything, and it really gives you that glass coating that you're looking for. And like I said, if you spray it right, I can guarantee you will not have to sand it or buff it.
I guess it just proves that there's, whatever way works for you, right? I mean, everybody's got techniques, and yeah.
And I spend 8 hours buffing and polishing to get the same thing he gets. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm not sure if that face is disbelief or just appalled at the entire situation, or what's going on over there.
Yeah, I hate him.
Yeah, I don't like enjoy polishing paint either. I will do it if I have to, but I'm kind of like with you, John. If I can figure out how to spray it and get it to look clean and flat, and I mean, a nice glossy, smooth finish.
And it's funny. So in my hobby room, I mean, we have a couple of dogs, right? So you got hair, and people have dust and stuff like that. And the funny thing is, people will say, "Well, how come you don't get any dust in your thing?" And listen, I really don't take. I'll watch YouTubers and stuff, and they'll line their spray booth with paper towel and everything else, and they'll vacuum before, and and I'm not like that. I'm like, I couldn't be bothered. One thing I do though is I have a large spray booth, like like a 3-foot spray booth, like a steel one. And I have, because I spray lacquers, I don't have a stock fan on it. I actually built, almost like the drywall venting fans from Ventnor and stuff like that. Well, they have a small one that's a 10-inch, and I bought it off as Amazon, and it has like 1,500 CFM. Well, I jerry-rigged my booth, and I vented out there. So I'm able to spray 2K lacquer. I can spray it in my room, and literally you can't smell it 3 feet away. It just sucks it all out. But what I do is I do change my filter, and I do wipe down the booth. But I think what people should do, whether or not you're spray painting 2K or you're even doing paint, in your spray booth, take a mist bottle, and I mist everything with water. Not enough to make it drip, but just enough in case there was a few particles here or there. It keeps it down. Because I don't put any paper towel or anything, Sean. I just mist it, and I do have a new filter. And what I do is I mist the filter, and I make it pretty wet. And then, like I said, I just mist the spray booth itself. And that allows me, I rarely, 95% of the time, I never get a piece of dust. And I don't change my shirt. I don't put on gloves like a whole rubber glove up to your elbows and stuff like that. I just spray, and it actually really works. The water technique, it works immensely. So if you have an animal, you have some animals, or you're doing some stuff, or just in general, just spray the booth down, mist it down with some water, and Bob's your uncle. I find it just keeps everything kind of down.
What do you think of those new waterfall spray boots that they got going on?
So I looked into them. I guess some of the complaints was, like, obviously you got to change the water, right? A fair amount, because the particulate and stuff get in the water. They do have I believe they have a bit of a filter on the bottom of them too, right? Like a sponge filter, kind of filters out. I think if you have a place where you want to capture that spray, that mist right away, I think they're ideal for that. I think they work good for that. I think it captures it. I don't know how the smell would be. I don't know if you're spraying a lacquer. Maybe it would help because it's really capturing the particulate really quick out of there and grabbing it. But I think they're a great idea for people that kind of need that extra, I'm sure they help with smell, and also just keeping the spray particulate and kind of that down. I think they're good. I know there's somebody in the US, they make a pretty decent one, I believe. One of the companies there, I forget, actually I was just looking at them last week, because I thought to myself, hey, you know what, why don't I buy one and just try it and see how it works out and go from there.
Yeah, I've been kind of curious about it too. I've wondered, does that add more humidity into the air?
I think it's just a waterfall curtain, so I can't see it. It's a small pump, right? And I think you probably want to change the water after every time you spray a couple times, because I think it kind of gels it, and I think the pump would suck because it recirculates the water, right, from that tray, because the tray goes on the bottom. So and that's where it captures kind of all those particulates. So I'm not an expert at it. I've watched a lot of stuff at it. I think they have their place in the market. I think
Is there extraction too, or is it just the water?
Yes, there is an extraction. The extraction's on the top. So
okay.
It hits the water, and then there's like almost like a large vent on the top instead of our conventional booth where it just sprays right to the back.
Okay.
This one here, they vent up the top, and then they come right out the top and then kind of vent out themselves. So.
Okay.
Seems not necessary when apparently you've made a homemade booth that'll serve as a positive pressure extraction should your house ever catch on fire.
100%.
1500 CFM. I mean, we're gonna blow the neighbor's dog across the yard when they get too close to the outlet.
It was funny because I didn't know how much paint smelled, right, and especially lacquer paint. Well, when I first started airbrushing, I just got an Amazon one, and I bought an water brush, and I'm spray painting the lacquer, and I'm thinking to myself, Jesus, it kind of stinks. Well, we have a fairly large house, and my wife comes from the other side, and she's like, "What in the hell are you doing? Like, what's going on in here?" And I was like, "Okay, well, we can't be doing that." So then I was trying to figure out, because typical air booth fans are only like 200 to 300 CFM. Like, they're not very strong. Even the good ones, they don't have a very strong. And I was like, no, I need to vent this to where you can stand 3 feet away and you don't smell 2K being sprayed. Well, I did a bunch of research. I'm like, hey, drywall fans, can I buy a small one? And I bought a small one and jerry rigged it, and it works amazingly well. And they're not very expensive. I mean, the fan on Amazon is like, got a 10-inch van from like that was like $180. Like, it wasn't, an exorbitant amount of money. So it worked really well in my case, because I wanted to spray lacquers in 2K, and I don't want the house to smell. So
I think we've all been here.
Yeah.
Probably have done that once or twice as a kid.
Hurry up, run outside, run inside. Yeah.
That's what I did with the parts of this Camaro. I wasn't gonna blow spray paint all over the booth. I just stuck everything and got a bunch of stuff on clamps, taped a bunch of stuff, and out the door we went. TS-29 warmed up in the sink, and out the door we went.
I've got a fun question. I don't think we've ever explored this topic. What do you use to hold the bodies when you spray them?
Well, James and I had this huge debate. I mean, at first, I've seen people like get a 2x4 with like coat hangers, and they turn them in and they squeeze them, and the pressure kind of goes inside the body. I've seen people use Gatorade bottles. They'll get 2A tape and they'll kind of put it on the top. I bought a couple of the Tamiya stands. I think they're absolutely trash. I don't like them one bit. There is a gentleman, I believe is in the US, James, that I actually found these stands, and I had mentioned it to James, and he by far, I think, makes the best body stands that I think, James, you have one there, don't you?
I do.
Yeah,
I do. So these are War Dog stands, and fully adjustable this way and this way. So this is version 1, and then version 2.
Yep.
This is just released. He made it so that it tilts. So you can do like decal work, or
that's right. Well, the nice part about those stands, Sean, is you can adjust it. It holds the bodies perfect. You never have to worry about them falling off of anything, coming loose. And actually, just for shits and giggles, I'd purchased the he builds them for airplanes. He builds them for boats. and he builds them for armor models. And there was one here that he built for armor models. So like this actually compresses, and you can see it's not very deep. So if you wanted to like do decals, gentlemen, you could put the body in here. You can close it up, and you can hold it, and it has like a swivel base to it, so it swivels on all kind of sides. You can collapse it with these wing nuts here to tighten the body into it. So it was like, out of everything that I've seen on the internet type of deal where stands are, like far superior to anything out there. I mean, those Tamiya stands, as much as some people they say they're great, they're not great. They're held in by pressure. Sometimes they pop out, right? Or you got to put some tape in there just to kind of hold the body, kind of, this one here and Sean, that one here, like I actually got a couple of them like James had there too. You can grab it and you can like shake it, like physically shake your body, and it doesn't move. So you never have to have this fear of potentially it falling off or dropping. So cat's meow right there.
Well, I'll tell you what I use. So this is a wooden dowel. And I put double-sided tape on the top, stick it to the inside of the roof of the car, and then I can just turn it into spray. I mean, regular paint stands, it's going to take up a lot of the volume of the car. So I like to paint the inside of the car at the same time I paint the outside. And this allows me to get all around the inside. And really, I only got one spot on a body that I can't paint, and that's where the tape is touching it. And usually that's on the inside of a roof or something, and I'll go back in and, spray that later or touch it up later. And then I just
falling off.
No.
Yeah.
No. If you get double-sided tape, it's sticky enough. And then I have a block with holes drilled in it. So I just let it sit there and dry.
Don't worry, Mr. Tester. The one day he's doing a body, he gets it mint. He uses my 2K technique, and he's just loving it, and it falls off the dowel.
Well, the other thing that's nice about that is and if you spray heavy, and like I do,
yep,
you can sit there and you can just kind of roll the body around and let the paint, roll. And that way, because I have had, like, if you just sit it, it'll start to, especially if the paint it'll sag, especially around the bottom. But if you sit there and kind of roll it around and let it keep it from sagging. So I've done that a lot. But I've just painted bodies like this, I don't know, for decades. So that's my tip of the day.
For extra bonus, it doubles as a kazoo.
Yeah, I've never dropped the body. I do use these things. So I got these off Amazon. These little roach clips. Yeah,
roach clips.
Yeah, on a stick. And they came, there's like a little stand with a bunch of holes. So if for little parts, I use these.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'd say I have my alligator clips that are on much larger stands, but I mean the easiest way to do this, I found, in the sense of not spending a bunch of money on the pre-made one, like, I got the Mr. Hobby tool hand thing, or whatever it's called. These are shish kebab skewers from Walmart. You get 100 of them for $1.50, and then go back in the auto parts store and get some alligator clips. You get like a dozen of those for like $3, and you just jam them on the pointy end of the stick, and these are never coming off. I mean, these things have been on here for 15 years, so every now and then dunk them in lacquer thinner to get the gumminess out of the alligator clip. And Robert's your brother's cousin.
This is carpet tape on a craft stick. So I just lay out the carpet tape, put a bunch of craft sticks on it, cut them with an X-Acto knife, just peel off the holder paper, stick parts on here. Bob's is your uncle. So yeah, I've got probably 50 of them, and I just keep reusing them over the last 10 years.
I said, then I found a set on Amazon of even tinier alligator clips that I bought, I think 100 of them for $10, and they fit onto like a toothpick. Like the hole in them is that small. They're teeny tiny. And I was like, all right, well, in the event that I have ever have, oh geez, I don't want to spill everywhere. In the event that I ever need like teeny tiny.
So, you got some
how do you hold them though? You put your pinky out when you hold them?
Yeah, you just stick them on a, as the British would say, a cocktail stick. Yeah, just stick them on the end of a toothpick.
Okay.
James froze.
James froze.
And then the other thing that I use is let's see. It's funny. I'm always surprised how many people I see spray paint things with their bare hands. And I'm like, what are you doing? So I have a big rubber glove. So I will hold my
the dowel
in my hand.
Oh boys!
Right, and I spray. That way, I'm not spraying on my hand. I don't have to worry about it. So this is
awesome.
But as I was saying before I froze, this fits. The holes on these are the exact size of a toothpick, and so, like I said, this isn't coming off here. I'll probably have to pry it back off here again. But if you want, I have a couple of blocks of foam. You just stick them in the foam when you're done. These things is a pack of 100. They're 28 millimeter mini metal alligator clips.
So look for this.
And like I said, I'd have to look on Amazon to see what I paid for them, but it wasn't more than like $10. And 100 of them literally last you forever. even if you pitched them when they got gummy instead of just cleaning them.
Tip of the day.
A pack of toothpicks is $100 for 59 cents, so it's not like they're causing any problem. There's your budget-friendly modeling tips here on the Automotive Podcast.
There you go.
That's right.
It kills me to see somebody with a piece of cardboard with rolled tape, and it kills me.
The thing that gets me, being on a couple of beginner Facebook groups recently, is the spraying it onto the cardboard, and you can literally see where the paint and the cardboard have met, and you know because we've all done this as a child that you're gonna peel that off there once the thing's dry.
Well, Mr. Duff, with all due respect, the people that are doing that though are using Tremclad.
If Tremclad is the equivalent of Rust-Oleum, then yes, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Hardware store paint, sure.
Hardware store paint, yeah. The great debate on the hardware store paint. I know Mr. Tester and we talk about that often. As a beginner modeler, I see that, and I am of the if you're going to build a model, don't use something you're going to go paint lawn furniture with. And people will, some people will debate me to the end of it, but every time you see a Facebook post, right, that the paint job has gone kind of wonky, it's always because they've used Tremclad. You never see somebody that uses Tamiya spray can, kind of go. And as a beginner modeler, what I find is I think it sends the person in the wrong direction, right? So if you're, because majority of people that build models, they want to build a nice model, right? They want it to come out nice and stuff like that. Well, don't use lawn furniture paint. And people will say, they'll be like, I can paint 12 models with the can. Well, I'm not sure how many people want 12 sandalwood Rust-Oleum models, you know what I mean? So I know it's always a debate, but I'm not a believer in it. I think there's just too many times it doesn't react well. And I think if you're gonna paint models and you're gonna do it, go get yourself a Tamiya spray can. They're easy to use. They lay out really well, and you get a really nice finish out of it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, they're
Sean,
pretty.
We just got you into airbrushing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I converted. I tell you, once you get a decent airbrush and get the right, I struggled with Tamiya paints until you guys showed me the right thinner to use. You use the Mr. Hobby leveling thinner with Tamiya paints, and I'm like, oh, that was a game changer.
big time.
So yeah.
And do you like airbrushing, Sean, now over?
Yeah. It allows me to, especially because I can, mix colors on my own. The Tamiyas, I use the little Tamiya bottle paints.
Yeah.
And I can mix just about any color I want.
Use the acrylics or lacquers?
I just use the acrylics.
Okay.
Same thing I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you use the Mr. Hobby, doesn't it turn it into a lacquer, the Mr. Hobby leveling thinner? Is that correct, James?
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Turns it into a lacquer paint, I believe, right? So.
Yeah.
Another thing that's really nice is Mr. Hobby makes the leveling thinner, but they make the rapid thinner. Yep. And I use the rapid thinner all the time. The only time that I use the leveling thinner is for the body. Everything else, whether it be the primer, whether it be the actual paint, it works amazingly well. It dries extremely fast, and you don't have to use, the unicorn tiers that are a little harder to get. And the nice thing about the rapid thinner is if you're doing metallics, it's designed to keep the metallic on the top. So with the leveling thinner, theoretically, it kind of goes down to the bottom. It doesn't give you that metallic-y look, where the rapid thinner, it's instantaneous, and it keeps that metallic flake where it's supposed to be at the top. So yeah, I really like it.
Some of that.
Yeah, it just saves on your leveling thinner. And like I said, it's awesome for all the rest. So all your engine details, all your primer, all whatever else you do, rapid thinner it. It dries instantaneously. You can do it quick.
The great thing about the rapid thinner too is if you put Mr. Leveling Thinner into Tamiya's XF paint, it'll dry with a semi-gloss sheen to it. The rapid thinner makes it dry flat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Interesting.
Works really nice.
I remember that.
Listen, I don't use it for many other things, but for flat colors and metallics. Because it keeps like you said, it keeps the metallic not so much from sinking, but from spreading out and diffusing as the paint levels.
It's supposed to make it more metallic-y, let's say, giving it that shine.
I don't know that it does that, but I have noticed that it does seem to be. There are certain metallic paints that Tamiya has that if they float, so to speak, you notice they start to diffuse and lose their metallic. They become shiny silver instead of being like a flat aluminum or something like that. And that solves that problem.
Interesting.
Where I can get that.
I don't know where I picked that up at, honestly. It was somewhere here in the United States because that tends to not sell as much as the MLT does. Everybody wants 19 bottles of Mr. Leveling Thinner at all times with the rapid thinner. They also make something called just Mr. Color Thinner. That's like the in-between of flat and MLT. It's just lacquer thinner.
Yeah, it's a blue bottle, is it not, Mr. Duff? It says 400 on it or something?
Yeah, it just says Mr. Color Thinner 400.
Yeah.
So, John, how are you dealing with the Canadian import of Tamiya paints and Mr. Hobby paints and
Yeah, I got hit pretty hard. Like it was weird. Like some of the Mr. Hobby stuff got hit because it didn't have the right labeling, I believe. And then the Tamiya stuff, it didn't have the right labeling, or it had a certain chemical in it that that wasn't allowed all of a sudden. So like a lot of that Tamiya spray paint left. And then after that, a couple of months after, I believe 4 or 5 months after that, Mr. Hobby got hit, and it was so funny. And it wasn't like the Mr. Hobby lacquers. It was like also some of the acrylics, like is it aqueous, the Mr. Hobby aqueuses? Even some of theirs got hit, which you're thinking like, are the chemicals? So whatever crazy person in the government decided that, this is the time in the, to go after hobby paint, in the grand scheme of things of what the world is just crazy. So we've lost some of that. So we do have like the Tamiya lacquers. We do have the Tamiya acrylics, right? If you can get the Ming acrylics. You can get the Alclad paints, right? You can get that stuff. But yeah, it's so like for myself, I buy a lot of the Pro Scale stuff. I'll buy the SMP stuff from Thailand. I think their stuff is beautiful. He makes by far the best metallic paints for if you're doing kind of import cars. That paint there is phenomenal paint. Pro Scale, like I said, they make a lot of really nice paints. It's easy to spray. It's lacquer paint. Paul, I think, is a gentleman, right, that has that company, I believe. So if I'm not using the Tamiya lacquers, I'm using those other paints to do my stuff, because I've tried Zero Paints, but Zero Paints is a hot paint, right? You got to spray it right. If you don't spray it right, it really screws up for you. I've gotten it down where I can get it really good, but at first didn't know how to spray it really well. And if you spray it hot, you spray it wrong, it's a hard paint. But of course they have all the genre, all the different colors that you want for the types of kits, right? If you buy the new kits, you want the the GT4, all that, you want those colors. You kind of got to go that way, right? Because Mr. Hobby and Tamiya don't have those types of colors. And so but yeah, it's been a little tough to get that stuff, but you just got to pay a bit more, unfortunately, if you want those other stuff. And kind of the kits that I build, James, as you all know, I'm looking for not, the blacks and the reds and stuff like that. So, but it sucks for, people that use the Tamiya spray cans and stuff, like they wiped that out. Like it was crazy. And there's really not much left behind it, unfortunately.
Did they let you keep the Tamiya enamels?
Yes.
So we can't even get those here.
Can't get those little Tamiya.
No, really? The enamels would have to go through the whole California cancer thing, and they said, "Nah, we're not going to bother with it." So I can get them by ordering like through Sunbury or whoever that is. Sunward. I can get it shipped down here, but now with all of the international frivolity of shipping and tariffs, it's not worth the money for that either. So
no.
Even when I'm in Japan, I can't buy the enamels. They see, white guy, they won't sell it to me.
Hey, bringing back like 400 enamels in your
because it is good brush painting paint.
It is.
Yeah, it does.
What it's very good for.
Yeah, it's unfortunate though.
So we are wrapping up here towards the end of the hour, and time to ask the question we ask everybody. You're not prepared for this, but hang on. Here we go. As a new modeler here, this might be well, actually, you know what? I'm going to do two, because Sean usually asks this question. If you could get somebody to kit an all-new model kit, what would it be?
Ooh. Like build a whole new model kit?
Yeah, like ground up new tool. I mean, I know the rules would say you have to have like 3 to 5 variations of it, so it would make money. But money's not a problem here. This is a magical world like Tamiya, where one kit of it ever comes out, and we all wonder why the hell they didn't make any more by changing a spoiler or a set of wheels or something.
Jeez, that's a really good question. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever put any thought into that. What I would like. I don't know if I can answer that. I honestly don't know.
Come on, you're always talking about that Bugatti that you want.
Well, but that's so. Yeah, you're right. So they do make they do make this kit, Mr. Duff. So I believe it was Alpha Model made the Bugatti version Gran Turismo in early 2000s. I think that kit looks amazing. I love the look of that kit. Hard kit to get. I believe it was made 2000 or not 2000. Sorry, 2020 or 2021.
Yeah, it was literally their first kit that they put out.
If Tamiya or somebody made a kit like that, I think it'd be amazing. I think that whole Gran Turismo Bugatti look. I know it's not for everybody's taste, but it would certainly be a kit I think that would do very well.
And the real question we ask going out the door is, and again, you're a new modeler, so this is probably unfair, but we always ask, what would be your opus magnum build? So it's a Lifetime Achievement Award, and I realize, again, 2 years in, Lifetime Achievement Award, ha 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 ha. But if there was like one sort of model or one sort of project that you would like to achieve prior to shuffling off this mortal coil, is there anything that pops into mind that's like that one thing that we, oh, that's Hobby Guys. That was his, we recognize that as being like the build that he wanted to do, the over the top, as you put it.
You know what I mentioned, actually, I really want to build that Bugatti Vision Gran Turismo car. I want to find one, and I want to build one of those. I think you could do an amazing build on it, and that's something that I know somebody that has it. I know somebody that has it. So I'm trying to, you know, out of my 600 kits, I said, listen, I'll give you 400 of them. Just give me kit. You know what I mean? That's the one kit that I really want to build. I think it's really cool. I'm sure there's other ones I haven't come across, you know, in my short tenure doing this, but that's one that I would honestly want to build.
I think it's impressive that in just a few short years you've amassed 600 kits. That's
Sean, it was and in those 600 kits, 550 of them have every aftermarket decal, every aftermarket part that would come with it. It became, as you guys, you know, I watch it all the time. It became a hobby upon itself. It was just absolutely crazy. Way more than any normal human being should do. I got to kind of get rid of stuff now because I know the direction I'm going. But yeah, I amassed way too much. My wife looks at me all the time and is just like, boy.
How do you have money for food? You're buying that.
Yeah.
We're going to eat these up on models, John.
We're going to have to eat some models here. Yeah.
That's a sickness right there.
It is. It is. Well, Mr. Duff does the same thing. I mean, you know, I don't go to the extent, but I mean, I'll always buy now models like 2 or 3 of what I want of each one. Yeah. You know?
That's for the estate sale, James.
No. This I have a meme on my phone, which I can't share here because my phone's upstairs. It says, I don't do gatekeeping. I do the opposite of gatekeeping. I'm going to tell you about my likes and you're going to listen. So this right here is an R30 Skyline. Fujimi made one of these and it's just a piece of dog crap. And then Aoshima made one as well. It's 3/4 of a pile of dog crap. They made a new interior for it. None of those kits have been available forever. This is a brand new Hasegawa tooling, so it's fantastic. And ever since they announced they were going to do an R30 lineup, which they did a couple civilian cars, I've been pacing the floors in the circle for this because this is sort of the one missing piece of Japanese touring car, 1983 to 1995, that didn't exist in a format that didn't suck balls in all forms and fashion. So this, which is also the 1986 series champion, is like, I've been wanting this for. I shipped this over ahead of time.
My precious.
It's my actual Hobby Link Japan warehouse is stuck in the fall of last year because again it's so damn expensive to ship that stuff anymore. But this one just came out a couple weeks ago and it came over first because as soon as I get this stupid Subaru 360 that I decided to build for Anna East off the table, this is coming next because that is the point of no return of finally building all these stupid Japanese touring car things that I have laying around here.
Did you buy 4 or 5 of them?
No, I only bought one because they'll probably make different decal versions of them. I'll need at least 2 more because I have 2 sets of decals that are floating around here that I think Decal Pool did that do the Tamika car and do the Pennzoil car that were done in the past. I'd be interested to see if somebody does the Leighton House car because Leighton House, you know, is a very specific gray paint job to it, and they ran one of those in that format. So we'll see what they come out with over the course of time. There'll probably be like 8 or 10 of those when it's all said and done with. But in the meantime, it was the missing link. There's a lot of goofy crap that was in JTC, like Sylvia's and Mazda 727s and things like that we'll never get a model kit of. But this was like the last big thing. So yay, I'm happy.
And that's where you get your kits from, James? Is Hobby Link?
Yeah, I'll get my Hobby Link Japan for my Japanese stuff, and then my like Chinese stuff, so to speak, I'll
Yeah.
get through Hobby Easy out of Hong Kong. And then
So
I
you can
get my
that's where I get all my stuff is Hobby Easy. They just seem to have everything all the time.
So I get my Alpha Model stuff directly from Alpha Models, and then I get my PCY Kitbox stuff from the guy above you there.
Yeah.
Along with my miniature decals.
Well, it's funny. Like I would love to get it from Alpha Models or from James, but it's just so expensive to send it to Canada. Hobby Easy, like it costs nothing. Like it costs $20 to send an Alpha Model kit from Hobby Easy to Canada. Like it's crazy.
It was what, $70 when I sent
So yeah, so quick story. So James sent me up something, right? Now what was it, James? Oh, the wide body for the Fujimi McLaren, right?
Yes.
In the decals. It comes here, and the UPS man, he's at the front door, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, you owe some money." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, how much?" He goes, $72. I'm like, "What?" I said, "What?" I said, "What? He's not sending me drugs. I mean, $72." He's like, $72, and I was like, "Oh, right. Well, we ain't getting anything from the US anymore because that's and it wasn't before all the duties and shit like that, right? But I mean, that's just, and the package was small, James? Like just a little package. You're not shipping a car part, but $72. I was like, whoa.
So you call James up and be like, "I need more stuff. I just paid $72 Friday morning."
It was crazy. Oh, but no.
All right, boys, girls, we appreciate everyone in the audience joining us. Lively chat as always. John, I want to thank you again for stepping up sort of semi-last minute there and coming on to share your hobby experience with us.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's fun.
And to these two guys, these two guys, as always, for helping me out in hosting. Next show will be 4/6. I'm going to be in Phoenix that week, so we're going to see if these two want to run a show of their own. We have some guests we can book in. We'll talk about that. And then 4/20 is going to be our pre-NNLE show, which we're going to have quite a number of people on. We can have a maximum of 10 people in here at one time, and it looks like we'll have 9 because Mr. Tester Mr. Tester will still be in Japan at the time, so he can't be here for that. So that'll be a fun one, and then that'll lead us right into NNL East, which, again, Mr. Tester's claiming he's not going to send all harassing emails to, James Tester at Scale Model Experiments. So appreciate everyone joining us tonight, and we'll see you guys on the other side.
Good night, everyone.
Night, thanks.